All right, guys, today on the HELLSTANG, we're going to be putting in subframe connectors. These ones happen to be from BMR, and I was able to score these locally off of Facebook Marketplace, I think for like 50 or 60 bucks. So let's go ahead and get these things in. Stay tuned. Pop's just kind of mocking them up. So they just kind of go right over there over your stock frame rail, and then back right here. And then back there, they just butt up against that angled part. But one thing we ran into was one of the little brackets for the lines was in the way, so we had to unscrew it and then just move it down. So I'll end up just drilling a hole into the frame rail, and then I'll just cross thread that bad boy right in there. But I'm just having to put some marks here right now, and then I'll know where to just take the flap wheel and just remove some paint and stuff here, so we got a good spot to weld to and get some penetration. Gonna have to be careful on this side for these brake lines or wherever these are, but you know, probably definitely weld it good here and on the back side around there, and then here down. So get that done. Man, once that's all welded, then we can go ahead and hit this thing with some undercoating. See if we can clean some of this stuff first. Maybe spray that with brake clean and then get this whole thing undercoated. But you can see this thing's got no freaking rust. It is like, I mean, it's just beautiful in here, man. Absolutely. All right, so I've been messing with these. I got these subframe connectors all prepped and stuff, so that way tomorrow we can just weld these babies on up. And I already got underneath here. Did the same thing with the flap wheel. Just got this stuff all grinded up right there for the back. And we got the back, and then we got some contact right there. All right, so now that we got these things all the paint off, they're ready to go in. I've already got the underside of the car all prepped and all the paint off there as well. So now we can go ahead and set these things in place. I'll probably take my jack and kind of jack this thing up, and then we'll just start tacking it in place and get it all tacked up. So what I'm using is going to be my tried and trusty Harbor Freight. I think this is like it's a 170 amp MIG welder. This runs off 220. So I picked this thing up a few years ago for like 200 bucks. Well worth the money. I mean, for just doing some simple project build stuff, this thing works pretty freaking awesome. I mean, we welded our whole death cart, the whole frame and cage on that thing with this thing. We did the whole stainless steel exhaust. I mean, this thing works pretty dang good for a couple $100 bucks. All right, before I weld it up, here's just one more different view, but you can see it a little bit better, right? So we just got this front portion just up here locked into the frame rail. We did have to remove that bolt, like I told you guys on the other side. So we're just going to relocate that. We just pushed it down farther on the brake line, so no big deal. And then it's just kind of butted right up against where there's kind of like a little factory bracket deal. Oh, my light died. So there you go. So anyway, so it's just butted up there, and then it's just back against the very back, way down there somewhere, I can't see it, but yeah, and then again, let's just get it welded up, put it in time lapse. All right, guys, so we got these things welded in, if you want to call it welding. I mean, listen, I'm like the worst welder ever, but it looks like I welded it, and it might have held it. So that's all we care about, right? So we'll see. We'll see if a year from now if they crack off and fall off down the expressway. But I'm going to take my grinder, do just a quick grind, and then we're going to go ahead and probably clean this up, prep it, and throw some paint down. And what's Pops doing? Pops is over here taking off the wheel well. Because then we still got to get some of this wiring out of here so we can send this over to the boys at MF Kustoms, and then they're going to kind of go through the stock wiring harness and get rid of all the crap we don't need and just leave the 5-6 wires we need for the gauges, for the air conditioning, and they're going to get rid of this like CCRM deal and just use relays, and so it'll be a whole lot cleaner and nicer looking. And once we get all the wiring out, then we can also go ahead and try to clean this engine bay up a little bit. And it's just kind of dirty, so just get that kind of cleaned up, prepped, and then we'll be in good shape. All right, so we got these guys are done. They're grinded. They're ready to just get painted a little bit later on. But I think before we do that, Pops is over here. He got the whole wheel well out, and we're getting rid of some of this harness. I've still got to get inside the car to get the portion that's inside through the firewall to the ECM or ECU. But he already got kind of this whole section all disconnected. It's not completely out because it has to come out there. But yeah. It's getting there, so this part stays with the car, I believe. And yeah, that part will get sent off along with the transmission harness and some other harness to the MF Kustoms dudes to get modified. And then we still got some crazy like, I don't even know, like there's some vacuum tubes, there's like 3 modules. I don't even know what that's for. I'm assuming we don't need those anymore though. So we'll probably unbolt those. But this part right here, this is what goes inside the car through the firewall, and then it goes down into the passenger kick panel. That's where the computer is. So I need to go ahead and disconnect the computer. We're not going to use it anymore. We're going to have the Holley, and then I just need to push that whole harness back out, and then we can ship that off. We'll be done with that part. And next, we need to start cleaning up the engine bay. Once that's done, we got to go ahead and get the floor all dried up, throw down a bunch of the painter's things, and then spray the underside with some of the rubberized undercoating that we got. So we just took some degreaser, just kind of sprayed down the whole engine bay. So this engine bay is not super clean. It's just a little bit kind of dusty, dirty. So we'll just probably end up letting it sit. We'll just wipe it all down real good. And that's really it. It just, maybe even, I don't know, what do you think? We can put some like wax it or something. I don't know. Just try to make it look a little better. Scrub it up. All right, so to get the stupid computer out of this thing, I did pull the seat out really quick and easy, 15 millimeter, 4 bolts, 1 clip. And then that gives you a whole lot of more room to work. And then you pop this little trim piece out. And then we get over here. And this is where the real magic happens. So you just got these few connectors here. And then there was 2 7 millimeter bolts holding the bracket on. So I just got to blow off these connectors. And I think what I do next is I think you just got to take this bolt off that holds this little bracket. And then that'll let the whole computer come down. We're also going to disconnect this. And then we got to figure out how the heck this harness comes out. Because I don't know, we're going to play with that, figure it all out. But this stuff's pretty simple. So, disconnect it, blah, blah, blah. All right, guys, so we just got this harness out of here. And actually, what I want to point out is when you're underneath the car, you take off these couple connectors, this big connector. But then you're going to find that, and there's also this ground, but then you're going to find that this harness still does not want to come from that kick panel out. And the reason why is it's actually still held into that bracket, the ECU bracket. There's another bolt that holds the ECU bracket, and that bolt is actually located behind this bolt, which this would hold the charcoal canister or evap. So there's a bolt back there that's a really small 7/32. So you can actually take some pliers and twist that thing loose. So that'll get that out. But then there's actually also a plastic push pin where the harness is going through that plastic push pin. So for that, I was able to just take a big long like pry bar, and I was just able to pry bar and get it off there. And then once that's off there, and once the bracket's out of the way, then you can feed this whole stupid harness through. But holy hell, what a pain. I mean, just between taking off this whole splash shield and all the clips and stuff just to get that, oh my gosh. But we did eliminate a few things. There was some vacuum crap up here now that's gone. So all that stuff. And then the evap canister is gone too. We'll kind of probably put a little zip screw or something down there so it can just evap down to the ground. So yeah, engine bay, we got it soaking, so we're gonna get to cleaning this. All right, so the engine bay is all wiped down, so all I did at this point was just kind of took a towel, wiped it all down, so it still looks kind of shiny just because the petroleum-based, degreaser stuff's still on there. But it's cleaner, looks a lot better. So now we got some tarps thrown under here, and Pops is actually just getting started painting some of this undercoating. So we ended up trying this Rust-Oleum undercoating, the Pro version, dude. It was like $13 a can, so hopefully it works good and it's supposed to help soundproof, blah, blah, blah. So mostly we just need to cover up, where we welded on there, and then we'll kind of get as much of that area as we can. The back part, I'll probably worry about later on whenever I do the rear end. But yeah, at least get that done for now. Oh yeah. All right, we're rocking and rolling. More paint matching. Oh man. I already went through a can. I think you're about a can deep. I just gotta come back to this side, this little section here. Yeah, baby. All right, so we ended up using 3 cans of paint. And if you're doing the back of the car, you'd need at least another can. If not, maybe 2. And like I said, this stuff's 13 bucks, man. Ugh, it ain't cheap, but she looks sweet. So now she's all black and rubberized, at least till about the rear end. Another project I've got to do down the line is drop the gas tank for a new fuel pump, and I got to replace this gasket. So I'll probably, once the gas tank's down, we can rubberize that, rubberize the gas tank, and then paint the rear end. But looks pretty sweet. So not bad, pretty easy to do, 40 bucks or whatever, good to go. All right, so you can see how I was painting. So now I've got to just get the wire harness all boxed up. We'll send that stuff out to MF Kustoms, have them modify it. And once that comes back along with the Holley, then we can start to put all that into the car, get the car ready, and start to get the engine dropped in. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll catch you guys on the next one.